this is Brother Richie, and right now you are watching In the Know with Antoine Jones and your Big Up J-Rock Communications. It's your boy Brother Richie representing Trinity Sound, Soulful Promotions, and Good Time Entertainment. If you didn't know, now you know. It's all about In the Know. Bless up.
Welcome back. Like I said, I did get to talk to the author of Abigail's Dreams Adventures about her book and her book launch that's going to be happening on March 26th at Brown & Co. But she's going to tell us a little bit more about that in our interview and a little sit-down chat. So let's check that out right now. Here I'm here with Karen Franks, who's a children's book author, and she actually wrote Abigail's Dreams Adventures. So Karen, what's Abigail's Dreams Adventures all about?
Thanks, Antoine. Abigail's Dream Adventures is about a precocious little girl who has a large old soul, and she has these wonderful adventures during the day with her neighbors Judy and Jonathan, and then mystical magical dreams at night, incorporating all her friends from around the world, from different cultures and different ethnicities, and they join her in all of her adventures by way of bridging the gap of racial divide. So it's a lot of adventures, lots of fun, lots of mischievousness they get into, and it's an exciting little tale.
So as a grown woman, what made you want to write a children's book?
Oh wow, that's a good question. Well, I think since I was a child, I've always had a large imagination. I'm the only child, and I've always liked writing. So I started a new writing class at a university overseas, and it just brought back all of the fun times I had writing when I was younger, and drawing and art. And from that came Abigail's Dream Adventures.
Well, you did say art, so who else helped you with the art in this book? Because I know it's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to find Colette Alexandratos, who's an illustrator in the UK, and we connected, and I've never actually had to even tell her what I've needed. She's just kind of known, so we just gel automatically. She'll actually be down here for my launch on March 26th, visiting for the week, yeah.
Okay, so since we're talking about the launch now, what's in store for this launch? Because I've heard a little word about it myself.
It's getting bigger and bigger. Every time I talk to someone or think about it, yeah, I'm having my launch at Abigail's Dream Adventures, the book, at Brown & Co. And I'm having lots of other organizations involved in the launch as well. What I'm trying to do is actually have a reading campaign throughout Bermuda. I've written the book, and I want to do more with the book. So with this launch, it's going to be a dream world at Brown & Co., which is going to be really exciting. Be Love Yoga and Wellness is going to be joining me as I'm here in their center, and we're going to be doing storytelling through yoga, and that's one of the initiatives that I'm going to have in the campaign. I'm also going to be doing books and basketball, and then also something partnering with the Family Center doing How Does Your Garden Grow, where we have a big project in store in the middle of Hamilton in a garden, and just getting kids in there for reading and things like that.
So what work goes into the final product of a book like this?
Well, lots of heart, I think. I had a great publishing company. I was able to work with designers and marketing representatives there. I actually had the opportunity to go to New York and pitch the book from book to screen, meeting large entertainment representatives in the market. And it was basically like, what do they call those things when you're doing a speed dating and you have to sort of pitch for like 2 minutes and to get everything into that. Right. Yeah, and then the bell rings. So you walk into this room and you got all these, and you don't know who you're pitching to, which was the exciting part about it. Since then, I've had 3 entertainment reps come back, and they wanted the manuscript for further consideration for a TV animated series. Yeah.
Well, that's crazy that you said that, because I was going to ask you, what's to come after this book?
Well, for me, I would love to have a foundation, a reading foundation, which incorporates dreams and other initiatives throughout Bermuda. I'm actually putting together an app with FireMind's Michael Branco, and I are working on a companion app for the book. So it's going to be audio, and once you get past certain areas in the book of reading, it leads you into the dream world, because this is what happens with Abigail. She has these wonderful adventures, and she can start daydreaming or she can start sleeping at night, and she goes into her dream world.
Well, I know you have 2 sons, so let's piggyback a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Why not write a book for older people that they could read? Why do a children's book?
Oh, good question. That's a really good question. Why a children's book? I think Abigail, well, I know Abigail is a part of me. It's the child part of me. And I see how she would see at the age of 6 or 7, running through the jungle-like settings here in Bermuda and going for nature walks with my schoolmates and seeing little fish in the water ponds and pools and stuff like that. So that is more probably more interesting to me to make things up from an imagination. And Jonathan and Matthew, my sons, know what type of mom I am, very creative and loving and nurturing, and sense of humor and funny, and so that's all incorporated in my stories. So they've listened to them, they've read them. There's a baby Maddie in there, and there's Jonathan, which is like Abigail's neighbor. So they're in my books.
So I know you and I was having a conversation earlier, and you was talking about nature. So how did you come to have this connection with nature?
Well, like I said, as a young child, I would always play house in the trees, the bluebell vines. So I love the outdoors. I love walking on the beach and just, having a sense of nature and the sense of the elements outside, the trees, the forest, the birds. I'm always aware, sitting and talking with someone, if we're in nature, the birds chirping, or I will stop and be late for work and take a picture of a snail on one of my pots because it's so beautiful, Well,
Bermuda's definitely the place
yeah,
for that.
it is.
Here.
Yeah.
So after a child was to read this book, what would you want them to walk away from it with?
That's a great question. That reading promotes dreams. It promotes imagination, and if you can dream it, then you can do it, and you can accomplish it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely gonna have to take a read myself, even though I'm getting a little older. I can still read the book.
I'm reading the book, and I'm a lot older than you.
All right, then I'll definitely have to take a read.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for letting us talk with you today.
Yes, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Nice to meet you too. Well, I know I'm gonna be on March 26th, and I know where you should be too, and that's at Bronica. Bring the kids out, cause after all, it is a costume party, right? Well, stay tuned, cause coming up, we still got this week's Pimp My Tube, and some of that yoga that I done too.